So was anybody else's heart broken this week? Mine was, into 1,000 tiny pieces. But with that said, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to one of our weekly My Hero Academia manga discussion videos. Today we're talking all about chapter 336, titled Villain. But before we get to the video proper, quick reminder if you haven't done so yet to hit that like button, share the video around on the internet, and make sure that you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, set notifications to all, let all of AniTube know that you're here. Also, you can join our Discord if you feel like it. We talk about manga, anime. It's the best way to be notified for videos. Check out the Discord link in the description. But yeah, again, manga spoilers. Big manga spoilers. If you're anime only, do not click on this. Do not watch this. Okay, you ready? Here we go. So, before we get to the big spoiler, I do want to address some stuff beyond just the Traitor thing, because the Traitor thing is big, and I have a lot of opinions, and they're all positive, by the way. I'm not one of those people who's like, My Hero Academia sucks now. Like, I'm not one of those jackasses who's just saying, like, My Hero sucks for clicks. Like, I am very much enjoying My Hero. I have not stopped enjoying. I don't know, like, is the pacing faster? Yes, it's faster because we're reaching a conclusion. So, yeah. Right, like I don't think it like My Hero sucks now feels like such like a hyperbolic statement where it's like I'm just saying it sucks for the sake of clicks, just my opinion. But yeah, I'm very much enjoying My Hero. This is a very positive video. If you were curious, I am not upset by the Traitor. I mean, I am, but in like the way that Horikoshi would likely want me to be. But before we get to the Traitor thing, I do want to address the fact that the gang is actually like doing the thing that they said they were going to do, and that's helping train with Deku. You know, they're helping Deku sort of, like, get used to his multiple quirks, and they're trying to help show Deku that they're just as strong, right? Bakugo improving his quirk, improving his sort of, like, cluster attack that he learned with Endeavor, I think is great. I love this shot of Todoroki, like, learning to balance both sides so that even Dabi can't burn him. I think that that's so cool. I really like the direction that they're taking, like the Three Musketeers, right? Like Bakugo, Todoroki, and Deku are like really starting to get to this point where I think like a big climactic fight is probably in store for all three of these characters. Todoroki and Dabi are absolutely going to throw down at some point. Bakugo is definitely going to have his big like Vegeta moment where he's going to like fight like the second in command and whoop that ass and then probably get taken out by the big bad, and then Deku's going to have to come in and save him, because such is the path of Bakugo and Vegeta. But and then Deku obviously is going to have his big climactic battle at some point with either Shigaraki or All For One. So we'll see which one it is who like ends up taking over the body. I'm still banking on my theory that Shigaraki is going to like revolt against All For One and give Deku the chance to take him out. But that's just me. And that's just a theory, a manga theory. But as everybody is training, Kaminari points out that he's actually feeling pretty hopeful about the whole thing, and that like, you know, like, why don't we just like I know we're plotting for all-out war and all that, like we're prepping for that, but why don't we just go take it to them? Like both of the big bads seem like they're in pretty rough shape, and that's when the others got to pull him back down to earth. And we get probably the best Bakugo line I've ever heard when he refers to All For One as good old nutsack face. That is the moment of levity for the chapter, because the rest of it's real sad. But yeah, hearing Bakugo say the words old nutsack face was hilarious. And Jiro even says like, gross, right? Like, Jiro's like, dude. But yeah, Bakugo points out like, A, we don't even know where to find him. Momo then chimes in and says, B, even when we fought him last time, he wasn't even fully, like Shigaraki wasn't even fully powered up yet, and we now have half the same amount of people that we used to, so our forces are thinned, right? So that's the other reason why we can't go up. And then Bakugo once again chimes back in by saying, and on top of that, they're the ones with the ball in their court. They got to attack first, so yeah, we can't exactly bring the fight to them, so they have to kind of bring Kaminari back down to earth. And Kaminari realizes, like, you know, wherever he is, I guarantee you All For One's probably still has that stupid grin on his face. And this is when we realize that somebody is missing, actually some people are missing, namely Hagakure. And this is where we talk about the big twist. I gotta point out that everybody, including me, assumed it was Hagakure. And I saw so many people be like, that's so lame. I feel like I was the only one who was like, oh, thank God. Because, like, Hagakure being the traitor, to me, made sense right? Because I was like, well, obviously it's Hagakure. And then on top of that, if it's Hagakure, that's great, because now she actually has a character. And on top of that, Ojiro would also get a character out of that, because Ojiro and Hagakure have always had like a thing. And so he actually fell for her because of her personality, because he can't see this girl. So he fell for her personality only for her to turn out to be the traitor. That would have been a great twist, right? Because it would have made Ojiro and Hagakure actually compelling, because in my opinion, they're the most boring. Them and Sugarman are the most boring characters in the whole series, not just the class. Like, they are so painfully boring. But Hagakure notices that Aoyama's been acting weird. And so she follows him into the woods, and she finds out why. And yeah, it's Aoyama. And I was so sad. So I did get spoiled that it was Aoyama, right? Because the My Hero fandom seems hell-bent on always talking about spoilers. It's like, I was talking about this with my partner Stella, and she's like, I read a lot of manga. My Hero's the only one I know that constantly spoils me on shit that hasn't even happened yet. All right, and like, not that Stella keeps up with My Hero, it's just she's noticing that like every time I hear about My Hero stuff, it's always from a chapter that's not even out. And it's like, damn, but it's true. But even though I knew about the Aoyama thing, there is another thing that I did not know about until I read this chapter, and that's another huge reveal, and it actually explains a lot about what's going on. But Aoyama being revealed as the traitor, I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, it makes me really sad, because I am such a champion, and I still am, and have always been a big champion for Aoyama as a character. I think he's one of my favorite in the whole class. I think Aoyama's so friggin' funny, he's so great. I love his dynamic with Deku, and then this felt like such a slap in the face, but like, not one of those like an insult, like, oh, you ruined the character. It's a slap in the face because it's a slap in the face that you knew was coming the entire time. All right, like, Horikoshi set this up. He set up all the pieces, and we all were just like, yeah, Hagakure makes sense, right? Like, it was so obviously a fake out. I was talking about this with my boy Animac, and we were both like, God damn, that fake out. Because, like, that's an impeccable fake out. It really was, right? Like, it was such a good fake out. Because, like, it being Toru just made sense, right? And then it's like, no, it was actually Aoyama. And Aoyama also makes sense. Like, that's the thing, is like, Animac had pointed out, like, he was always kind of sus. And I'm like, he always was, but I had it in my heart, like, no. It's like he's only acting weird because Aoyama's just a little different, that's all. But no, he was the traitor, and my heart weeps. Oh, God damn it. That was so sad. I'm still sad thinking about it. But the big twist, right? Like, the big twist for me is not that Aoyama is the traitor. It's the reason for his treachery, right? And the reason for his treachery is that Aoyama was born quirkless. And I was like, what? And then I was talking about it with my partner Stella, and she's like, you know what's crazy? That was set up. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, think about it. Aoyama, whenever he used his quirk too much, he'd get like stomach aches. Like how whenever Deku used his quirk too much, he'd get damaged. Because he wasn't born with that quirk. People who are quirkless and then get given a quirk still aren't used to having their quirk. And I was like, oh my God. Right? Like, that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense. Like, Aoyama was quirkless, and it was right in front of our face. And we didn't know. Right? Like, we all, like, people were kind of sus of Aoyama ever since the window incident. But, like, the quirkless thing, to me, I was like, that's, like, he was quirkless. And then when you think about it, you're like, oh, shit. Right? Like, as soon as I read the chapter, I was like, Stella! Right? Because, like, we talked about it, and that's when she pointed out that like, the quirkless thing makes a lot of sense. And I go, oh my God, that does make a lot of sense. Right? So, crazy. But here's the thing, right? So that explains where his quirk came from, that the quirk came from All For One, right? So that's why he's indebted to All For One. But it's not like he's doing it because he's a villain. Aoyama doesn't feel indebted to All For One, he feels indebted to his parents. And his parents are scared of All For One killing them. So that's why this is happening. Aoyama is not a willing participant. And I will defend my boy till I'm dust, okay? Because first of all, let's be real. I know you guys. I know my audience. Look, ladies, I understand that you're all big-time Dabi fans. Don't bullshit a bullshitter. I know that's true. You can't defend Dabi and not allow me to defend Aoyama. Because Aoyama's my boy, and I will defend him. Because Aoyama never wanted any of this. Absolutely never wanted any of this. Never wanted this life, right? His parents essentially forced him into, like, helping them, right? His parents were like, don't let us die. And obviously Aoyama's a good person, so he's not going to let his parents get in danger, right? And to me, it's very gaslighty. You know, like, the way that they treat him is very... It's like they're gaslighting him. Because they say, like, forgive your loving parents for being such fools. And it's like, that is so uncool. The way they say it, like, forgive your loving parents for being such fools. It's like, your loving parents... Dude, if my kid was quirkless, and I had a way to give him a quirk, and then I did, and then the guy who gave my kid the quirk said, if you do not work for me, I will kill you, I would be like, then you can kill me. I am not turning my son into a villain, right? Like, absolutely not. And Aoyama feels like a villain. He even tells Deku later, do you hear me, Midoriya? I am a despicable villain. And no, he is not. No, he is not. My boy is not a villain. He is desperately trying to do the right thing. And I will stand by Aoyama the whole way. The fact that when Deku shows up... Oh my god, when Deku shows up. Like, when Deku shows up, Aoyama literally, like, internal monologue goes, I can't take it, not from you. That crushed me. Because, like, I genuinely feel like Aoyama really cares for Deku as, like, somebody that he really relates to. There's a real kinship between Aoyama and Deku. Like, he really cares about Deku. And Deku really cares about Aoyama. Like, he knows that Aoyama was acting a bit weird, so he wanted to go out and make sure that he was okay, that he had noticed that he's been gloomy ever since he got back, and Deku was worried about him, so he went out to go find him, right? Like, these two genuinely are, like, birds of a feather, because when you think about it, Aoyama, knowing that he was quirkless, and then knowing that Deku was quirkless, he likely felt like a kinship, right? And so, like, this only cements that relationship between the two, you know? Like, when it cuts back to the I know spelled out in cheese, right? It's like, that I know makes sense. Like, to me, it's telling me that Aoyama knew the whole time about Deku. I could be wrong on that, but, like, my guess is that ever since he got into UA, he knew, right? Like, he knew, that's Deku, he has All Might's quirk, nah, right? Like, maybe I'm wrong on that, but that's the impression that I got. That's the impression that I get. But that's, like, so that to me cements the friendship even more, that Aoyama, like, likely also saw Deku as this other kid who really wanted to be a hero, who was born quirkless, given a quirk, right? And even if he didn't know, when he gets the letter and finds out, right? Like, when he gets the letter and finds out, that probably made him feel worse, and because he's then more connected to Deku, sees more of himself in him, right? Like, no matter what, he knows about Deku, whether it's right at the beginning of the story or when Deku gives everybody the letters, right? Either way. And whether it was then or at the beginning, Aoyama would have felt like an even deeper kinship to Deku, and that probably made him feel like crap the entire time. Because he knows that he's the traitor, he's the one leaking information. And that's gotta eat him up inside, and I just feel so freaking bad. It was such a sad chapter, and the way Horikoshi draws this man's face absolutely kills me. Like, Aoyama's face, like, just is so sad. Aoyama's face, Deku's reaction, it's so sad. It's so sad. Like, I hope Deku can find it in him to forgive, because here's my big theory. Here's my big brain theory about what I think is going to happen with Aoyama's character. So they're going to set up Aoyama as this traitor. Deku is going to tell him that it wasn't his fault, right? And he's going to try to help, like, Aoyama explain to the others what happened. They're going to be really wary of him. Everyone's going to kind of keep him at arm's length. You know, they're going to be really disappointed in him. And then All For One's going to attack. And then All For One's going to corner Deku. And just before he could deliver the killing blow, Aoyama's going to jump in between him and Deku, and Aoyama's going to die. Like, my guess is that the only way that Aoyama's going to feel like he can fully forgive himself and redeem himself is likely if he, can help stop All For One, and even if he can't, it's going to be if he dies fighting All For One. And my big fear is that, because, like, my big fear is that he's going to be dying in Deku's arms, and he's going to ask Deku, like, do you think he still was a hero? And then Deku just tells him you're my hero. And then he dies in his arms, because it'd be friggin' sad! But do I think that's actually going to happen? I'm not going to lie, part of me really does. And I don't want Aoyama to die. Like, I am worried that even if it's not that, I am worried that Aoyama might die. And I really don't want that, because I love Aoyama so much. I hope that's not the case. I would love to know where you guys think Aoyama's character is going, because I really have just no idea. But with that said, that's it for me. Outro. And there you have it, everybody. That is going to wrap it up for today's video, so I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to boop that up snoot, share if you care, leave a comment down below, and of course, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and set notifications to all. Let all of AnyTube know that you are here, and if you haven't done so already, go ahead and check out our Discord so that you can actually be notified when new videos go up. And of course, you'll also be notified when we're streaming over on the other website that starts with a T. On top of being the best way to get notified for new videos, it's also a good place to discuss with fellow anime fans and stuff like that. So if that sounds cool to you, go ahead and join us over on the Discord, link down in the description. Also linked to the description is our Patreon page, and that, along with the join button right beside the sub button, are great ways to help keep this channel afloat. You will find our Patreon page for as little as $1. You can help keep this channel running. And of course, a big thank you I have to give to our masters of masters, the true legends: Asaki VT, Elizabeth Just Elizabeth, JCran23, Jeremy P, Matt87 Eagle, Shadow Creative, Shiorans, Stephen G, Stevie W, Trapmaster, Trevor W, and Tristan G. Thank you all so much for being so freaking cool. I really love and appreciate all of you guys for your tremendous support of this channel. And if you too would like to have your name shouted out at the end of videos, once again, go check out that Patreon link in the description, or hit the join button right beside the sub button. Either way helps out a ton. And that's it for me. So until next time, clean your room. Just trust me, a clean room is a clean mind. Maybe do some Tai Chi. You know, drink lots of water and brush your teeth. And yeah, have a good day. Bye.